And when most of a population is immune to a contagious disease, this provides indirect protection or herd immunity. You might have heard that these days people are talking about the herd immunity. What is this? So, herd immunity to those who are not immune to the disease. For example, I am telling you that if 80% of a population is immune to virus, 4 out of every 5 who encounter someone with the disease won't get sick. And usually 70 to 90% of population needs immunity to achieve herd immunity. So we are still far ahead of achieving herd immunity according to World Health Organization, children. Equal of previous class where I given you the concept of law of constant proportion postulated by Joseph Proust, and how we try to understand that in a given sample of compound the percentage of the different elements in that compound by mass will remain fixed, and the kind of atoms means kind of atoms means what? Elements. The elements will also remain fixed, means whatever is the source of the obtaining that compound will not change their percentage composition by mass, neither the kind of atoms or elements. They both will remain same, always constant. So here we are trying to verify the law of constant proportion numerically, because the numerical verification is the best verification. We will see here that how the sample of a compound has shown the fixed composition of its element by mass. Get ready to have an experience of solving numericals based upon the law of constant proportion. What is my first question, children? The first question is a 0.24 gram sample of a compound of oxygen and boron was formed by analysis to contain 0.096 gram of boron and 0.144 gram of oxygen. So here what has been asked, that you have to calculate the percentage composition of compound by weight. Children, I have not given you solution here because this is a very simple composition question where you have to calculate the percentage composition. The percentage composition is calculated in what way? Like you will write that percentage composition of oxygen in the given sample of the compound of oxygen and boron is equal to mass of oxygen divided by the mass of the sample of the compound multiply 100. So what is the mass of sample? Mass of sample is very clearly given here, it is your 0.024 gram. And what is the mass of oxygen? Mass of oxygen has been found as 0.144 gram. So here you can calculate it like percentage mass of oxygen in the compound of oxygen and boron is equal to 0.144 divided by 24 multiply 100. And what percentage you are getting will be the percentage mass of oxygen. And then how you will calculate the percentage mass of boron, and that in the same way percentage mass of boron will be the mass of boron by the mass of sample multiply 100. So 0.096 divided by 0.24 into 100, and it will be the right answer. I think that it should come as 60% and 40%. You will calculate and you will see. Second question. Question is, when 3 gram of carbon is burnt in 8 gram of oxygen, 11 gram of carbon dioxide is produced, what mass of carbon dioxide will be formed? When 3 gram of carbon will be burnt in 50 gram of oxygen, which law of chemical combination will govern your answers? Children, this is more a logical question, so I have tried to give you the answer also, solution. To discuss the solution, my aim is to provide you the right logic also, because it is a conceptual question. First we find the proportion of mass of carbon and oxygen in carbon dioxide theoretically. What is ideally present, carbon and oxygen and carbon dioxide, that I will give you the concept. So in carbon dioxide the ratio of carbon and oxygen is equal to 12:32. How? Because the carbon has the atomic mass 12 and oxygen has 16, so and 2 atoms of oxygen is present in carbon dioxide, so it will be what? 16 into 32. 12:32, which is reduced as 3:8. Now just try to put up the situation of the question, and here we will apply unitary rule, children, to get the answer. Since 12 gram of carbon reacts with 32 gram of oxygen, so 3 gram of carbon will react with how much of oxygen? 3 multiply 32 divided by 12 is equal to 8 gram of oxygen. It is very simple calculation. I don't think that you will find any difficulty. Now I am giving here what is the, because children, when you are solving the question in science, you have to give the your basic concept also. So in chemistry you will definitely write the chemical equation. So carbon plus oxygen, carbon dioxide, 12 gram carbon, 32 gram oxygen, 12 plus 16 into 2 is equal to 44 gram carbon dioxide. So here you can see that the law of conservation of mass is verified. This side also 44, 12 plus 32, and this side also in carbon dioxide 44. And then the supposition of the question, that 3 gram carbon, 8 gram oxygen, and 3 plus 8, 11 gram. This fulfills the law of conservation of mass. So here therefore 3 gram of carbon will always react with 8 gram of oxygen to form 11 gram of carbon dioxide. Even if large amount of carbon oxygen is provided, that is your 50 gram. In the question, in the next situation, it has been given that the 50 gram of oxygen has to be burned in just 3 gram of carbon. So the mass of carbon is not changed, but the mass of oxygen is changing. But what mass of carbon will burn in what mass of oxygen will remain fixed as the previous one, because both of the laws will remain verified together. Law of conservation of mass जहाँ वेरीफाई हो रही है वहां पे कांस्टेंट प्रोपोर्शन भी वेरीफाइड है, ये तो आपको बिल्कुल सोच के रखना होगा. So this is your same, that 3 gram of carbon again is taken, so it will only need 8 gram of oxygen, and the remaining 42 gram of oxygen will remain unused, unreacted, and my answer or your answer will govern the law of constant proportion. I hope that you must have got the idea how to solve it. Question number 3 is very interesting. Let's look at it. 1.375 gram of cupric oxide, the formula is CuO, was reduced by hydrogen. Hydrogen is a reducing agent, children. That is why here the agent does not participate itself in the chemical reaction, but it only tries to complete the chemical reaction by aggravating it. So was reduced by hydrogen, and 1.098 gram of copper was obtained. Whenever the oxygen is removed from the substance, that process is called reduction. Okay, here the reduction is going on because from the cupric oxide we are reaching to copper. Removal of oxygen has been done. In another experiment, 1.17 gram of copper was dissolved in nitric acid, which is a very strong acid, HNO3, and the resulting cupric nitrate was converted into copper by heating. This is thermal decomposition that I am telling you. The weight of cupric oxide formed was 1.476 gram. This is the final weight that has been obtained from cupric nitrate. What you are getting? Cupric oxide, and that cupric oxide has weight 1.476 gram. So that show that these results prove the law of constant proportion. Yes, here I will definitely give you the solution because the question appears a new type. So the stepwise solution has been provided. The first step will be to write the first chemical reaction in which the reduction has been done. Cupric oxide plus hydrogen. This is the chemical reaction, reduction, and it is getting reduced to copper plus water, because the H2 will react with oxygen and it will convert into water. What is the initial mass? 1.375 gram provided in the question. And what is the final mass of copper? It is your 1.098 gram. Now what is the percentage of copper in cupric oxide? Similarly, that we have calculated in the earlier question. 1.098 divided by, means the mass of the cupric oxide, mass of the copper divided by mass of cupric oxide multiply 100. mass of copper यहाँ पे क्या है? mass of copper है 1.098, and what is the mass of cupric oxide? 1.375. Multiply 100, so it is coming as approximately 79.8%. तो परसेंटेज में आप लोग इसको राउंड अप भी कर सकते हैं. So finally we are writing 80%. The situation 2. Situation 2 is what? Copper plus nitric acid forming cupric nitrate, CuNO3 whole twice is the formula, and then it is further decomposed into cupric oxide. So here the mass also is provided of the copper and your cupric oxide at the end. Now what is the question? That 1.476 gram of cupric oxide contains copper. You have to find out that show that the question asked that was converted into cupric nitrate was converted into copper by heating. The weight of cupric oxide formed was 1.4. So you have to show that the results prove the law of constant proportion. Yes, we are ready to show. 1.476 gram of cupric oxide contains copper and is equal to 1.178 gram. What is the mass of copper in cupric oxide? 1.178 gram. Clearly it is written here. So what is the percentage of copper in cupric oxide? 1.178 divided by means the mass of copper divided the mass of cupric oxide. Mass of copper is what? 1.178 and divided by mass of cupric oxide, which is given 1.476. In the question it has been provided, you will see, multiply 100. So it will also come approximately equal to 79.8%. So finally 80% around. And then you have seen that in both of the situations the percentage of copper remained 80%. Now what is the percentage of oxygen in cupric oxide? A percentage of oxygen will be 100 minus 80, that is your 20%. So since the percentage of copper in both cases is same, the data follows law of constant proportion. Here I have written and I have written correct. What has been asked in question number 4? Copper sulfate crystal contains 25.45% of copper and 36.07% of water. If the law of constant proportion is true, because children, what? No, let me give you the basic concept about the crystalline structure. Copper sulfate is a crystal. Crystalline structure always have the water of crystallization molecules. Water of crystallization molecules are written like this. Just by giving a dot, how many number of water molecules are attached with the compound is given. So the copper sulfate has the crystalline formula as CuSO4.5H2O. That is what I try to say, means the CuSO4 5H2O has what? 25.45% copper and 36.07% of water. If the law of constant proportion is true, then calculate the weight of copper required to obtain 40 gram of crystalline copper sulfate. It is very simple question. You will calculate it. What has to be done, that also I will not tell you because it is very simple. And I have given you the hint that the answer should come as 10.18 gram. My next question. What is the experimental percentage of oxygen in carbon dioxide if 42 gram of carbon reacted completely with 112 gram of oxygen? That also you will solve. Every time I am not providing you solution because then how you will get the practice and how your inquisitiveness will come forward. What is the experimental percentage of oxygen and carbon dioxide? 42 gram of carbon reacted completely with 112 gram of oxygen. You will try to solve it. If you will get difficulty, then I will tell. I don't think that you will get difficulty. Question 6. What is the theoretical percentage of aluminium in aluminium oxide? And what is the formula of aluminium oxide? Al2O3 that I have given here so that you don't do any mistake. And I have given you solution also. Theoretical composition has been asked, means not any bulk mass is taken, only the atomic mass will be enough. The percentage of aluminium will be what? Atomic mass of aluminium, it is what? 23 unified mass. And what is the formula mass of aluminium oxide? Children, I have tried to give you the how to calculate the formula mass of aluminium oxide. Hint has been provided that 2 atoms of aluminium is there, so 27 multiply 2. The atomic mass of aluminium is 27, not 23. Just by mistake I told. 27 multiply 2 plus, whenever there is we are shifting towards another element, then we will put a sign of plus. After aluminium we are going towards oxygen, so plus. And how many atoms of oxygen? 16 multiply 3 because there are 3 atoms. And what you will get after the calculation is 102 unified mass. So atomic mass of aluminium by formula mass of aluminium oxide multiply 100. So 54 unified mass is your aluminium here, because there is 2 atom of aluminium. That is why 27 multiply 2, 54 unified mass divided by formula mass of aluminium oxide has been calculated 102 unified mass multiply 100. So you will get 52.9 as the approx answer, and rounded up your 53% is the right answer. Now in my last question, children, I have asked that what is the percentage composition of sodium chloride. So here similarly you will answer, because it is just based upon question, so I have not provided you solution, but little much hint I am giving you. Sodium has the atomic mass as 23 unified mass, and chlorine has the atomic mass as 35.5 unified mass. So what will be the mass of sodium chloride? 23 plus 35.5, and then you will calculate the percentage composition of sodium, that is your 23 divided by that addition of 23 plus 35.5, multiply 100, and what is the percentage you will see. And then again similarly of chlorine. So this is the class of numerical problems which deals with the law of constant proportion. Children, I hope that you must have enjoyed and it must have remained interesting to you. Solve it, then I will also think that okay, the taking class remains successful.